This is an absolutely wacky story. We have now learned that Donald Trump was going to appoint his daughter Ivanka to be president of the World Bank until Steven Mnuchin intervened. There are a number of reports explaining that back in 2019, Donald Trump told The Atlantic about all the jobs that he wanted to give his daughter Ivanka, even ones where she wouldn't be qualified for an internship. And we have learned, per The Intercept, that the idea was, what about Ivanka as president of the World Bank? In January of 2019, you might remember that Jim Yong Kim announced he would be stepping down from his role as president of the World Bank, going to a very cushy gig on Wall Street at a private equity firm. As the White House moved to select its new leader, one name very dear to Trump's heart kept floating around: his daughter Ivanka. It never came to fruition, with Ivanka later telling reporters that though her father raised the subject, she declined to pursue it because she was happy with her work as senior advisor. But two sources not authorized to speak publicly tell The Intercept that it went well beyond Beltway chatter. Trump wanted Ivanka as World Bank president, but it was Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin who blocked her getting into that role. Spokespeople for Mnuchin and Ivanka didn't respond to The Intercept's request for comment. Neither did the World Bank or the Trump Organization. She didn't end up doing it, but she did end up helping Steven Mnuchin and then Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney to choose the successor. How can anyone seriously talk about Hunter Biden when these are the things that Donald Trump was thinking of doing? And to some degree, he was actually doing these things. I mean, remember, I think, was it the G20 or the G8? G8, I believe. Ivanka sat in for then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson at a G8 meeting. That's insane. Remember the cringeworthy video where Ivanka awkwardly sidled up to this conversation with the chair of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and British Prime Minister Theresa May, and French President Emmanuel Macron at the G20. And everybody just looked kind of uncomfortably and said, what? Why is Ivanka here? Lagarde in particular seemed disgusted by it. And it makes no sense that Ivanka would even be considered for such a role. The depths of corruption and nepotism and the self-serving instincts of the Trump family really know no bounds. And for me, it's not surprising Trump thought of this. It's not surprising he wanted to do it. The only surprising thing to me is that Trump allowed himself to be talked out of it by Steven Mnuchin. When Steven Mnuchin is the voice of reason, you know you must be coming up with a really bad idea. And truly, I mean, as far as Mnuchin is concerned, I've always seen Mnuchin more as an opportunist. The guy is not dumb at all. He's just an opportunistic finance guy, socially awkward, strange delivery, willing to work for Trump for what he saw as his own personal gain, for which he deserves criticism for sure. But by the standards of kind of like modern education and what's appropriate, et cetera, Steven Mnuchin, pretty smart guy. And it's not a surprise that Mnuchin realized the absurdity of what Donald Trump was thinking here. But the nepotistic instincts of Trump really know no bounds. And when we consider, particularly in the context of it, Hunter is the problem. The problem is Hunter Biden. And then we see, I mean, listen, Kushner and Ivanka were senior advisors to Trump. Imagine for a moment if Joe Biden announced that Hunter Biden was going to become his senior advisor. Or, I mean, imagine for a second if at a G8, instead of the actual Secretary of State, there was video and there were pictures released of Hunter Biden sitting there where the Secretary of State is actually supposed to be sitting. It would be, what, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They did 7 to 10 days on Dr. Seuss on Fox News. Just imagine. And Trump wanted Ivanka as president of the World Bank. And if he comes back in 2024, I'm telling you right now, the degree to which the nepotism and the self-serving and the corruption will increase is inconceivable to us. It will be insane if he is rewarded with a second term, what we will see in terms of the nepotism. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But very good reporting there from The Intercept and Vanity Fair and others. We'll have more on this on the David Pakman Show Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at David Pakman Show. You can find me on Instagram at david.pakman as well.